Hey everybody, welcome into the Ace Ballers podcast for week number 1. I am your host, Kyle Nicolos, and to my left is Fighting Mongoose. Oh, it's somebody else. A man who deserves no introduction.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is our first podcast because last week's podcast of the draft analysis didn't go. It's kind of, we had a hard time compiling everything.
Yeah.
And the technology wasn't being helpful. So what we're going to do today is, 1, go over all of week 1's events in our league. 2, look forward to the matchups for this week. And 3, mystery box, because I don't know.
We'll
Maybe
pick up on the spot.
Fab analysis. Oh, we do have some fab stuff to talk about this week too. A lot of trades. No, not a lot of trades, but a lot of
Pickups.
A lot of pickups this week. Money has been spent by almost everybody.
Except for Wayne and Kendrick.
Except for Wayne and Kendrick. Bailey tried to spend money, but no one would take his money.
Everyone outbid him.
So, okay. Let's go into the first matchup that's on my computer, which just happens to be Kyle America and the Bear Flag Rebellion. So, okay. Here, well, we'll pull up the bench stuff too. This is my matchup.
Mm-hmm. You just lost. That's what
I lost. I lost bad. I had a 20-something point lead, 30-something point lead going into Monday Night Football.
2 games Monday.
But there were 2 games on Monday. Josh Jacobs torched me.
And so did Deshaun Watson.
And so did Sean Watson.
Yeah, it was
so
like 50 points right there.
That's why I lost. Now, for the first 3 quarters of the Cardinals game,
You were looking terrible.
I had -2 points from Kyler Murray. And then all of a sudden, they turned it on.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the offense for the rest of the year.
I mean, you think they're throwing like that the rest of the way?
To Larry Fitzgerald, I would.
What about Christian Kirk?
He'll get peppered in and more used, but I don't know. I think like Larry's going to be the go-to guy.
So we said this in last week's mystery podcast that I felt that Wayne had the best draft.
Yes.
And I was a victim of that prophecy this past weekend.
It was pretty solid. I mean, he even dropped Larry Fitzgerald. And
He did drop Larry Fitzgerald. Do you think anyone picks him back up?
He already did.
By who?
I think Wayne picked him up.
Oh, Wayne picked him back up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you spend money on him? Is this a Bailey moment for dropping Matt Breida?
I don't
and
think so.
Picking him up?
I think he just snagged him off free agency.
That's a good call. I mean, he has
If
a
it
solid...
was a little amount. It wasn't much. I forgot my computer, I can't check.
I even had Chris Godwin doing better than Mike Evans that day, too.
Yeah.
Like, everything in the Sunday games went right for me. And
Monday was terrible.
I didn't leave any points in the bench. What do you think, before the week started, leaving Chicago's defense on his bench and putting Seattle's defense in?
I liked it.
I didn't. I thought he should have played Chicago's defense.
I felt like Cincinnati's offensive line's terrible.
Yeah, no, they are.
And that's going to lead to a lot of defensive points over plays. And that's why I grabbed San Francisco this week.
Yeah, it's the Bears defense. It's the first. It's a Thursday night game.
I had the Bears defense last year. Let me tell you something. They do great every week.
Yeah.
But they're rarely the number 1 defense.
But I'll tell you right now that Chicago got him 25 points. Seattle got him 30 points. There wasn't much. I mean, you really couldn't have gone wrong with either one of those.
It would have been a fine play either way. But
and I played my optimal lineup. I didn't leave any points on the bench. So everything kind of went the way it was supposed to. Juju Smith-Schuster was shut down. He didn't do what he was supposed to do. Julian Edelman did exactly what he does,
always going
which
to
is
do.
just 13 to 20 points consistently every week.
Yeah.
The Patriots signed Antonio Brown this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Antonio Brown, just from a fantasy perspective, minus, if he plays, because there's all these allegations and things. If he plays, what do you project his fantasy impact to be on the Patriots?
Look at what Josh Gordon did last week. He's going to be similar to that. You got Josh Gordon on one side, Antonio Brown on the other. Julian Edelman in the middle.
I will say where I feel like Josh Gordon is like touchdown or bust, I feel Antonio Brown is not that. I think he's a 6 to 8 reception guy a game for 80 to 120 yards.
Yeah.
And a possible TD. I think he gets you points whether he catches touchdowns or not. I think Josh Gordon is a touchdown or bust type of player.
True. That is true. He is a little more touchdown reliant. I will agree with that.
Did you see his touchdown?
No.
He got upended, stuck his hand in the ground, and kept his balance and just dove into the end zone. It was a really good. It was a good touchdown. Okay, so Wayne 1-0, Kyle 0-1.
Yeah.
It was
We're gonna see those records a lot. 4 more times.
We are going to head into our second match of the week, which is the Fighting Mongooses versus the Bonafide Scrubs. Kevin, what happened here, man?
Lamar Jackson was my team.
Lamar Jackson was your team.
Basically it. Chris Carson, I drafted him to be my one because they're going to give him a lot of touches, and he proved me right this week.
Yeah, he did.
Devontae Adams let me down. Cooper Kupp let me down. I was really hoping on them, along with Michael Thomas, to be a strong threesome on the wide receivers to give me lots of points. Yeah. But they're going to have down weeks. It's okay. If they're going to have down weeks, I'm fine with them having a down week when I go up against 190.
David Montgomery didn't really pan out this week, but I feel like the signs for him are very encouraging.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to win that number one job.
He is.
Because he was just so much more explosive than everybody else.
He was so much better than Mike Davis. They kept putting Mike Davis in.
Terrible.
So mediocre.
Although this is the Kenyon Drake, Frank Gore situation from last year.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to just stash him for now. Him and Miles Sanders are both just stashes until they can take over their jobs.
But big disappointments, O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
And he dropped balls.
And he had missed a touchdown.
Touchdown was called back. That Niners game, 5 touchdowns were called back on penalties.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. But, Chris Godwin got red zone. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters for you.
That matters for me.
For you.
Philadelphia's defense, who was kind of like a dark horse, didn't do it.
The first half was so bad.
It was terrible.
They were fine the second half.
Yeah.
But that first half really just...
But Washington out of nowhere, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty bad. But Michael Chappell, Patrick Mahomes doing what he does.
Yeah, he's going to do what he does.
Amari Cooper, another pick I wish I could have gotten in the draft. Guys who I was targeting was Amari Cooper.
I'm happy I have Michael Gallup, who's across from Amari Cooper, because that offense looks great.
Yeah.
And he will get points too.
Yeah.
He almost got the same amount of points.
Saquon Barkley didn't have a particularly good game.
No.
But he had 2 big runs, which got him the 120 yards.
Yeah.
He was playing a formidable Dallas offense, and they were forced to throw the entire time.
He can catch.
But he can catch out of the backfield. And I believe he had a reception TD. Oh, no, he didn't. He only had the 7 yards of reception. So that's unfortunate. But the big hit this week for Chappell is Hunter Henry, who is now...
Joe Mixon's out, too.
Joe Mixon's out. And
Hunter Henry, just
who is Giovanni Bernard? That's the question.
Someone picked him up. I forget who. Oh, it was you.
It was me.
It was Thanos.
I was Thanos. Well,
before you changed your name.
Kyle America now.
Yesterday I was going over all this, and
I'll tell you what. I want everybody to change their profile pictures to the pictures I made for them. Their superhero pictures. That should be a thing.
Cody.
I could have turned you into a fighting mongoose. That would have been perfect. Any points left on the bench? Yeah, holy crap. Yep. Dak Prescott, 43.
That's not a lot of points. He got 39. That's only 4 points left on the bench.
There's not, but man.
Me, I had Gallup.
Oh, Michael Gallup.
I had Malcolm Brown and Latavius Murray all could have helped me out if I put them in, but
there's a...
I was considering between Breida and Murray, and I went with Breida, but that was a mistake.
Congratulations to Michael Chappell, who won this week's most points and biggest blowout, and this was a double week. Because we picked week 1 somehow as the double week. Thanks, Tim. Michael's the proud new owner of $15. Don't spend it all in one place.
Or do.
It's your money. It's your money. You do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to me. So, as of right now, Michael Chappell is in first place. He has the most points, and he is undefeated.
I'm just glad I'm not in last place.
That's true.
Who's in last place?
We'll talk about that soon.
We will get to last place here in a second, which is it was super funny. Tim versus Bailey.
Yeah.
This was another interesting matchup. This was, I think, the closest game of the week?
No.
Was it not the closest game? What was the closest game of the week?
Braden and Jason.
Braden and Jason were...
I'm pretty sure.
8 points, and this was 7 points. This was the closest game.
Jason's was closer going into Monday. This one ended up being closer.
Yeah. Okay, so Russell Wilson decent game, average game.
Yeah, he's going to do what he does.
But watching DeAndre Hopkins play, God, they would not target any. Deshaun Watson would not target anybody else.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he'd fall to me, but he didn't.
He did not. Njoku had a good game. Finally, a tight end having a good game on that team.
No one had a good game on that team.
Which is really funny because Cleveland was just...
They were so bad.
They were terrible.
So bad.
They were so hyped up.
Yeah.
And they just did nothing. Mm-hmm. Mark Ingram had a great game.
He's going to have a great game for the next few weeks, too. They just play weak teams.
Denver's defense looked so pathetic against Oakland. It was embarrassing.
Oh, man.
I mean, an Antonio Brownless Oakland went out and made a statement. And you know what the reward is? They get to play the Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Oh, that's a good reward. But I do want to note, Bailey picked up Darren Waller, I think either Sunday night or Monday morning. He picked him up right before game time. What'd I say?
Yeah, you're right. Darren Waller.
Okay.
I was just repeating what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. It's a good pickup.
Sometimes,
It's a strong pickup. You got him for free.
As a professional, you got to fill in the blank, the quietness. If you're a radio personality, getting thumbs up from the producers. We need a soundboard for our producer.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to work on that. We're gonna get that.
That's our next step.
But yeah, he picked up Waller, which is a good pickup. All of a sudden, at least just from week one, the tight end landscape looks a lot more fulfilling this year than last year. Last year it was three. It was Kittle, Ertz, and Kelsey.
Off the fab this week, 3 paid a lot of money. Yeah. Me, you, and Braden.
We'll get to that too, because there's a lot of fab analysis to have right there. Anything else about this game interest you? And how much bench points? It looked like they played pretty good. Marlon Mack had a great game.
But, I mean, when you stack, 20 running backs on your team, it's hard to play them.
Here's the interesting thing. The Colts looked really good without Andrew Luck.
They did.
And, let's not forget that Jacoby Brissett was also a hand-picked quarterback by Bill Belichick before he was, he was another one that the Patriots really liked to replace Tom Brady a few years ago before Tom Brady
said, "No, I'm going to keep playing."
Cried to Dad and said, "Dad, don't let him trade me." And then Kraft was like, "Okay, fine.
I want to play till I'm 90.
Here's a new contract. I want to play until I get tackled and I explode on the field." Okay, let's move on. So congratulations to Tim, who narrowly had the closest margin of victory this week.
The interdivision game.
The interdivisional game. 1, 2, 3. Bailey would have beaten me? Nope, no. Bailey would have lost to me by 0.03 points. So Bailey would have lost to half the league anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is our Eat Crow segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're both ready to eat some crow.
See, what's good is that last week's podcast didn't air because we trashed Kendrick's team a little bit. His draft. Not his team, his draft.
One pick in particular we were harsh on.
Well, we were very harsh on Tom Brady.
It was a very early pick.
And honestly, to have Tom Brady go that early and then not play him in your lineup, you know what I mean? You probably could have waited on him. So I still stand by. You could have gotten Brady way later than you did.
It's true. His ADP said way later.
Yeah, if drafted at all. In 10-man leagues. But he had Drew Brees. He had the oldest quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
80 years worth of experience, as you pointed out. But holy crap. Sammy Watkins, are you buying or selling these types of games for Sammy Watkins?
I would sell the crap out of him.
You'd sell Sammy Watkins?
Oh, yeah.
With Tyreek Hill out, who else are they going to target?
McCall Hardman.
Damian Williams.
Kelsey. I mean, they have other targets. It was a big game for him, but he just has these. He has huge games,
and then he gets hurt.
He's got nothing, and he never plays a full year, and it seems like he's got more value right now than he ever will, and you could get a lot for him. Especially Jason.
I am in on Sammy Watkins this year. I know that.
I think he'll be fine. He'll be better than he was.
As long as he's healthy. As long as he's healthy, he's fine.
But he's gonna have up and down games, and I'm more like the consistency.
Sure.
Out of my guys.
Agreed. Phillip Lindsey, who was one that a lot of people passed on multiple times in the rounds, and Kendrick picked him up late and probably got what could have been considered a steal. Had a crap game. They played in a Raiders defense who looked pretty good on the field.
Well, it was a bad game script.
It was a terrible game script for him.
They were playing from behind, so he's not going to get as many carries.
But he was also, I mean, last year he was just like he exploded. He was an undrafted rookie.
Yeah.
And he exploded. He won the job for what was it, Royce Freeman?
And Booker.
And Booker.
Yeah.
And it just he looked so good last year, and he just I don't know. And he was falling in the draft for reasons because of the injury.
Well, he also fizzled at the end of the year last year. Like he kind of hit a wall. So I mean, I think people kept those two factors in mind when they were. And plus, they don't look like a strong offensive team anyway.
That's a great segue because you know who didn't fizzle at the end of last year? Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry picking up right where he left off.
It hurts so bad.
Getting Cody 30 points on the field. That is hilarious. Now, keep in mind, those points really came from one 75-yard touchdown catch that he had, too.
Yeah, I know.
So, Derrick Henry, buy or sell?
Do I have Cody's team?
You have Cody's team.
I'm keeping him if I have his team.
Cody,
I don't have enough running backs to...
Cody, for the most part, looked like he played his optimal lineup. I mean, there's not much else he could have done.
Yeah.
There's a huge contrast in defenses. Dallas, 13 points. And Minnesota, 31 points.
Yeah.
Minnesota
looks good.
Minnesota, by the way, looks fantastic. Now, let's not...
offensive line is not looking great either.
I was going to say, that's true. But their defense looks solid.
It looks legit.
Although they have a tough matchup. Who are they playing this week? They had a good matchup this week. Green Bay.
Packers.
If I have Aaron Rodgers, I'm benching Aaron Rodgers this week.
I have Devontae Adams. I will not bench him.
So yeah, I wouldn't bench a receiver, but I would. I don't know. Just something about the Green Bay Packers. Congratulations, Kenny. I owe you an apology, buddy.
You crushed it.
You had a great game. But, let's see if you can do that 2 weeks in a row. And then our disappointment game of the week.
Turd of the week.
The Browns versus the Dolphins. We had Boomer Bust Jason going up against Braden.
He didn't boom. He technically busted.
Busted, but he busted in all the right ways.
He's pulling and fighting mongooses.
You like that?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that was wrong.
This is a kid-friendly show.
Yeah.
Or can we give it an R rating flashing across the screen, please?
Warning.
Okay, so Jason's team, they do what we thought they were going to do, and they busted.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield could have had a great day. Tyreek Hill could have had a great day.
If he didn't get hurt.
But, like we said, every draft pick he took had risks.
They all did, yes.
Now, this week he got lucky that he happened to play the lowest point getter in the league, which is the exact opposite. He had the hardest schedule last year, and so far he has the easiest schedule this year. You had the easiest schedule last year, and you played the top point getter this year so far.
Karma.
So you guys you're reversing.
Yes. Flip-flop.
Leonard Fournette, nothing. Evan Ingram. Okay, so Evan Ingram, Golden Tate comes. So we both said that we liked Evan Ingram, but at least for the first 4 weeks.
Yes.
Golden Tate comes back in 4 weeks.
Yes.
Does that hurt Evan Ingram at all?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the same. It's the same target area. They're both those short range, mid range catches. So he's going to lose targets.
So if you're Jason, what do you consider doing? Do you play Greg Olsen over?
If I'm Jason, I'm probably blowing my team up right now and
trying to trade it for pieces. Speaking of which, I just got 3 trade offers from Jason. Defense did really well. Let's talk about
Baltimore against Miami. I mean, any defense against Miami is doing great this year.
Baltimore.
That's who you stream.
Just
find out who's playing Miami.
Off of fantasy
Wait, who's
football.
playing Miami this week?
The Patriots.
Yes, that is why you drafted them.
That is why I have the Patriots defense.
You got
and
lucky that they just crushed
the Steelers.
To
be fair,
still lost,
fair, I also did know that Tom Brady owns the Steelers in Foxborough. They've never won in Foxborough, so I wasn't scared.
As scared as others were.
And it's Bill Belichick with infinite time, a whole offseason to prepare for that first game.
Improved defense.
And improved defense. So yes, the Steelers may have been a risk. The only reason why I was terrified of that is because I have a lot of Steelers on my roster.
That was very counterproductive.
Exactly. So, but I said, let me just get through the first week, and then I'll feel a lot better afterwards.
Yeah.
However, I did pick up Ben Roethlisberger as my quarterback for this week. So
more Steelers.
He
just has the Steelers. That's his team.
Black and yellow.
Just give him all the Steelers players, and he'll roll with it.
Jacksonville's defense put up -1 points. You were better off not playing a defense this week than playing Jacksonville's defense.
Well, that was kind of obvious if they're going against Kansas City. Kansas City's just going to score points. They're going to hurt your defense.
They only had 3 tackle for losses. That's the only thing that counted toward their points. They allowed 35-plus points, which is -5.
It's hard to get tackles for losses when you're not running the ball as much as hurling it to the end zone from across the field.
But
there's Sammy Watkins, 40 miles away. Let me just throw it to him.
Did Braden have the second pick in the draft?
Yes. No. Yes. Yeah, he got Christian McCaffrey.
He took Christian McCaffrey.
This is his boy. He had him last year.
And Christian McCaffrey, who, in my opinion, other than Saquon Barkley, and I know you like Alvin Kamara better. I like Christian McCaffrey better. He's the only one on that offense who are going to do that. And he's going to be he's still
good.
He's still young enough not to get injured all the time.
Yeah.
But they are going to abuse he's going to be one of those backs who fizzles out in a year or two because they just use him so much.
Yeah. I like Kamara better because I like the offense better.
Yeah. No,
they're gonna have more scoring opportunities.
I get that.
More points.
I just the way New Orleans works, you're always gonna have Latavius Murray eating into his production. You have no one eating into Christian McCaffrey's production.
Latavius Murray got 11 points, but most of that was on a 30-yard run. I think he had 2 targets and 8 carries. He didn't eat up that much.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Just 10 touches. That's not that bad.
No, you're right. But still, it eats in there. And you know how many touches Christian McCaffrey's backup had?
0.
2.
Oh, really?
He had 2 touches.
That is a lot more than I thought.
Infinitely more than I thought.
Infinitely.
Okay, so Braden loses to Jason. Jason squeaks by, little slime toad squeaking by.
He did get Emmanuel Sanders, who was someone I was targeting late in drafts.
So let's go to that.
That I really like.
Let's go to our pickups of the week or whatever.
Oh, sure.
How do we get out of here?
What do you mean?
Quick, go cut to commercial.
You go to league transactions. Nope.
League and the transactions thing?
Oh, you could have just scrolled down.
So let's just go to the fab first.
Okay. Just to show the four bidding wars we had.
So here we go. Here is the 4 bidding wars that we had.
There's one similarity.
We see if you can find the thing that's common between all these. Carolina's defense is awarded to Tim, who spent $26 on them.
Oh,
who's Carolina playing this week that they were so popular?
Tampa Bay.
Oh, Jesus.
Jameis Winston is who they're playing.
Oh, my God. That's a turnover fest.
Yeah.
Bailey bids $22. He was outbid.
Yes.
Mark Andrews.
That's me.
Great game. $83 to you. Why did you put up so much on Mark Andrews?
There were in my head, there were only 3 tight ends worth going after. And I chose to go after him because I have the same quarterback and just thought, hey, why not try and double up on some of those touchdowns?
Correct. You outbid Bailey.
Yes.
And Bailey misses out on Mark Andrews. But Bailey went after a second tight end as a backup plan. He went after TJ Hawkinson. I put $90 down on TJ Hawkinson.
Because?
So here's the thing.
The number you're looking for is 100%.
There was back when Matthew Stafford actually had Calvin Johnson and they had a good team. Mm-hmm. Pettigrew, who was their tight end at the time, was also a fantastic tight end and was he's known for throwing to tight ends, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
TJ Hawkinson is an 8th overall pick.
Yes.
They put draft picks in him. Mm-hmm. He outsnapped whoever their other tight end is by a decent margin and caught and was targeted a bunch of times too. Yes. He looked like Rob Gronkowski when he was out there. I do feel that Matthew Stafford, that he's a good tight end play, and I will ride him because I'd rather not, because I had Vance McDonald too. Yeah. But I don't like having too many Steelers on my team.
It's kind of dumb to have that many of one offense on your team.
Unless they're the 2007 Patriots.
That's true.
Which the Steelers are not. Especially without Antonio Brown. Or Le'Veon Bell. But I do want to, if I hit on TJ Hawkinson and he's a good tight end this year, it's one position I don't have to worry about anymore. Yeah. When last year I got maybe an average of 3 or 4 points from that position on a weekly basis from David Njoku.
Yeah. But, I mean, I do have to ask, who did they play last week?
The Lions, the Jets? No, who they play?
The Arizona Cardinals.
Okay, they played the Cardinals.
Who have a terrible defense.
That's right.
They're going to make a lot of players look good this year.
I agree.
So,
but Matthew Stafford. He's a
I agree.
high-paid
I think
quarterback,
he's a fine pickup.
and they
I
will
just
throw the ball.
think he's going to have down weeks.
Sure.
In your,
so Tim,
you're going to be pissed off.
Just as a side note, I originally bet $60. I put $60 down on TJ Hawkinson. And before midnight, right around 10 o'clock, 10:30, I said, you know what? I cannot miss out on him. I need to have the tight end. I raised it to 90, and I would have been outbid by $1 by Tim.
You know what's funny? My original bid on Mark Andrews was $53, and I went up by $30 also on it.
Did you
to
really?
Make sure I got him, yes. I wanted that extra tight end with the tight end landscape looking better this year.
Exactly. And if you have that spot secured and you get 10 to 15 points from your tight end, that's a fantastic job.
Yep.
But Bailey once again missing out on that tight end.
Yes.
But Raheem Mostert, Bailey put down some money on him.
$14.
But Michael Chappell. So Bailey bid on all the fab this week for people who were taking fab. It came out with nobody.
Yeah, all the bidding wars he lost.
Based on how much was spent and based on who got whom, who do you think came out the big winner in fab this week?
Probably the people who didn't get in bidding wars.
That's probably true. They all have their fab left over.
If we go to all transactions, I cannot use this computer scroll. Oh, there, view all.
Technical difficulties.
You can scroll down and you can see all a little more. Where are they? Here we go. $5 for Brett Maher, $7 for San Francisco. That's me.
That's you.
15 for Green Bay, $20 for Matthew Stafford. All right.
That was Jason.
Marquis Brown. Look, he spent Bailey spent $52 and got a possible wide receiver one on what looked like an amazing offense.
Yeah.
But
jeez.
John Ross, $70
for $70 with nobody else bidding on John Ross.
Yep.
So Jason, in addition to having a boomer bust team,
got another
boomer bust player.
He keeps the
Matthew
team.
Stafford, I would qualify as a boomer bust player.
Yes. He's
and
up and downs.
He spent over $100.
It looks like 90.
Well, looks can be deceiving. Actually, here's a question. What do you think about Marquis Brown?
He's going to get more and more reps most likely while he's recovering. But he didn't play much, but he still scored a lot of points.
What side of the camp do you fall in? Do you he only got 12 snaps, or look what he did with his 12 snaps?
I'm more in he only got 12 snaps. You can't predict these huge, crazy
games,
plays,
right.
But you can see trends in the opportunity. And his opportunity was low, but I'm saying, it should grow. So if you want to jump on him now and bench him until he starts showing more potential, I get it.
Delaney Walker went for $100.
Yes, that's the big tight end pickup of the week. But yeah, the three highest bids, all tight ends, which is the opposite of last year.
All right.
Actually, that's not true. George Kittle went for
He went for a lot last year.
You're welcome, Tim.
For a good reason, though. Okay, so we are going to move on to our predictions of the week.
Oh, God.
So let's predict Kyle America versus the Bonafide Scrubs. Who do we think is winning this matchup?
Let's see. Who's got the better quarterback? Not you. Who's got the better wide receiver?
Possibly me.
But I think you've got a better floor. Well, he has maybe a higher ceiling with Josh Gordon.
This has to be one of the 145 to 145 production right now.
Yeah,
anyway.
I mean,
that's going to be pretty
really
close. That's pretty close.
He's got Saquon Barkley, but then he's backing up with Sean McCoy, so he's kind of stuck with that.
Yeah.
Sean Jackson just killed me last week, so we'll see. Who are they? Atlanta? I don't see Atlanta getting into a big lead, so they're probably not going to be throwing the ball downfield to him as much.
Would you take the risk on Hawkinson, or would you play Vance McDonald? The only reason why I wouldn't play Vance McDonald is because I already have too many Steelers on here anyway.
I'd play Hawkinson.
That's true.
Because you got like you're saying, there's too many Steelers. They can't all get a touchdown at the same time.
Would you bench one of the receivers in a flex spot to play Giovanni Bernard if he starts? I don't think I would.
I wouldn't.
I've never gone heavy receivers any years, but this is the first year I went heavy receivers, so we'll see.
I would keep your receivers. I like their upside better. And plus, like I was saying, they got a terrible offensive line.
They do. All right, prediction time. Who do you think wins?
Who do you think wins? You're going to say you.
I'm definitely going to say me.
You know what? I'm going to go against you.
Yeah.
I think the guy who destroyed me last week is somehow going to put together another 4,000-point game and beat you.
Fighting Mongooses!
Oh, I'm going to lose.
You're playing Tim. Let's take a look here. You got Lamar Jackson playing Arizona.
Yeah. they played Miami and played
man.
Arizona, and I really, really like Lamar Jackson to start off the year.
DeAndre Hopkins versus the pathetic Jacksonville Jaguars. Dude, man, this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
I know I got you at 39, but I don't buy that.
Yeah. Well, let's see if my receivers do what they're supposed to do this time.
I feel like every tight end either has 7 or 8 points projected. Like that's
Pretty
every tight end.
Well, once we see Kittle or Kelsey, we'll see what the highest projection
is for the week. Interesting.
I mean, I'm scared of Mark Ingram, honestly. I think he's going to get a lot of points. You should bench him. He's questionable.
You know what? I'm going to go with Tim. I think Tim's going to win this week.
I agree.
Okay, so we'll pick Tim
I
to win.
need some tweaking to do in my team. I'm still working on that, but I just have to build around a few pieces.
Brought to you by Daily Fantasy Football. Thanks, Daily Fantasy Football.
Thanks, ads.
Let's go to the third game. We got Bailey versus Braden.
Okay.
Who do we got here?
He put in Marquis. Okay, just for that, I'm going to go with Braden.
I'm going to have to go with Braden, too.
I don't like Marquis Brown as your number one receiver right now, buddy. I'm sorry.
He is Arizona right now. He is playing Arizona.
What's he going to get? 13 snaps?
The other thing to talk
14
about,
snaps?
Bailey traded Antonio Brown
for Allen
Robinson. Now, this was when he was cut. Cody made him an offer. And Cody, being a savvy guy, this was before he was signed on the Patriots.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Would you have made that call?
As who?
As Bailey to go ahead and trade Antonio Brown.
I would have traded Antonio Brown. I knew he was going to get picked up by somewhere. I would have held on.
Bailey just seems like someone who reacts to a lot that's happening.
Yeah. We'll see.
He seems to have lost his fantasy football powers when he cut his hair last year.
I mean, what's his bench? Does he have any other receivers besides?
Just push hard.
Oh, okay. Does he have any Landry?
He's got Galladay. I like Galladay. Against the Chargers, too. That could be a high-scoring game.
Yeah.
He got Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
I just like Cleveland.
I think he's going with the big points from Brown last week. I think it's going to happen again. I don't see it happening. But it could. It happened once. It could happen again.
This week, I am going to say Braden.
I'll take Braden.
Braden goes ahead and gets to 1-1. And Bailey is right off to the start he was last year at 0-2.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bailey. But
Kendrick versus
so we have this is technically the matchup of the week because it's the second place versus the third place guy. Oh my god.
Playoff implications.
Where's that? We need a soundboard for that.
It's week 2. We're talking about
playoff implications.
How about playoffs like a month ago?
Oh,
we're way behind.
Damn.
Kelsey at 17 points. Kittle at 10.
Okay.
There's your ceiling for what your projected tight end could be.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Dude, just again, I like Wayne's draft.
Whoa.
Deshaun Watson. Tyler Lockett was interesting. They threw the DK Metcalf a lot.
Yeah.
Would you consider picking up DK Metcalf at some point?
No.
Me neither.
I don't like rookie wide receivers anymore.
Because you got burned by Cortland Sutton last year
And,
after begging me to pick him up.
Calvin Ridley.
And Calvin Ridley.
When he scored 49 points on my bench, I was so disappointed in everything.
Kendrick put up a lot of points. I might be eating crow next week, but
Yeah.
I say Wayne takes this one. I think Wayne moves a 2-0. Kendrick moves a 1-1.
You know, I'm going to say this depends on Phillip Lindsey.
Phillip
Lindsey has a good game.
Against Chicago's defense?
Is he playing Chicago?
He's playing Chicago, bro.
All right, I'll go with Wayne.
We're going to go with Wayne on that one.
Sorry, buddy.
Is there anything he could do against, does he have anybody else he can play? Can you put Tom Brady in for him?
Tom Brady is my running back, too.
Nah, he's screwed. He has to roll with Phillip Lindsey.
He could put James White in there and flex in Goodwin or Sanu. I wouldn't do either.
No, I wouldn't. I would say your best chance is to stick with what you have.
Phillip Lindsey too.
Who knows? You might, Kendrick. This might be your year, buddy. He made me look stupid last week. And finally, our fun pick of the week. Cody versus...
It's the boomer bust pick.
It's the boomer
bust
bust
boom
pick.
Or does he bust?
God. Just his projected... I get projections don't mean crap.
They don't.
But he's had the lowest projections 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's just such a boomer bust team. Baker Mayfield, does he bounce back against the Jets on Monday Night Football?
Monday night. No. They're
At
in New
Jets.
York. I'm going to say no.
Keep it... Oh, by the way, Sam Darnold not playing this Monday.
He's not?
No. Oh, breaking news. Sam Darnold not playing this Monday. But my phone isn't there. So, So yeah. So what do you think that means? Does Cleveland's offense have the ball more?
I don't know.
I know.
Cleveland should be better than they were week 1.
Yeah.
I think they do bounce back some. I don't know how much, though.
Are the Browns closer to the team that we've known or closer to the team that people were projecting them to be?
I think they're closer to the projection.
Okay.
They're not an 0-16 team. That's the Browns we know.
Evan Ingram gets Buffalo. Do you like that matchup? Because I don't, especially if it's raining.
I just like Evan Ingram.
Le'Veon Bell
I
against
just
Cleveland.
think he's gonna just get so many check down passes thrown to him.
Oh, he will.
He's just gonna feast in this PPR format.
He will. Half point PPR.
Well, any PPR format, whether it's a full or a half, he's gonna get a lot of points because he's gonna get a lot of catches
For at least 4 weeks.
Yeah, it'll drop when Golden Tate comes back.
And then we have Cody's picks. Odell Beckham Jr., man, I just don't know what to think of him right now in the Browns. He to me still is a risk because he only works when Baker's working. He's not someone who demands a certain amount of targets, but they're going to try and get him involved.
I will say this. I like the way Cody sets his lineups. He puts the earlier games in the spots and the later games in the flex.
Yeah.
He has Alvin Kamara, his number 1 draft pick, in a flex position, as well as Odell Beckham Jr., his second pick, in another flex spot. That's simply because they're later games than their other positions. And that's smart.
Fundamentals.
It's the things that small things you do. If you have a player playing on Thursday night, you're gonna play him, you put him into your let's say his receiver. You put him into your receiver slot. You don't keep him in your flex spot because then you're out of less options if something happens over the next few days before the next sets of games.
Exactly.
You need to give. It's fantasy football 101. The great players are on top of that. It's like the Patriots always never penalizing themselves, always relying on other penalties. Someone lining up offside, so they throw so an interception gets called back.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
I do.
Ronald Jones is going to get some play because Darius Geis is out for 6 to 8 weeks.
It's not even the right team.
Hold up. Who am I thinking of?
That's Tampa Bay.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
What am I saying?
Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson are behind Darius Geis.
Who? Wait a minute.
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones was getting more.
He was running pretty well last week.
There was something about him getting more.
He might get more touches because he looked better than Peyton Barber.
Oh, correct. That's what it was. Peyton Barber. What did I say? Darius Geis.
Peyton
Barber. Oh my God. Peyton Barber.
Episode 1, baby.
Ronald Jones is supposedly getting more touches this week because Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
But isn't also Darius Geis out too?
Darius Geis is hurt and probably out. I think it's
okay. Yeah,
I don't think it's definite yet.
Alvin Kamara against the Rams.
I love Alvin Kamara.
So, who we had to pick? We got Cody. We got Jason. Who's booming and who's busting this week?
If Jason takes out John Ross and puts in Emmanuel Sanders, I will pick him. But if he doesn't do that, I go with Cody.
I am firmly...
You got that, Jason? You can get my vote by changing your lineup.
I'm firmly entrenched with Cody this week. Picking Cody to win. Jason busts all over the place. Anything else? Anything else to discuss this week? I mean, there's some news. Is Antonio Brown being crazy?
All of my fab analysis right now is useless because not a single player picked up with fab money has scored any points so far. So everything is 0.
All right. Well,
see what happens this week, though.
That's going to do it for us this week. This was the Ace Fantasy Footballers podcast. Our first episode, week 1, September 12th. All right. We'll see you next time.